Hi, I'm Incendavery, and today I'm going to color a comic page. A comic page. So I'm trying to keep this comic to a bit of a limited color palette. So I already have the alcohol markers that I've used on the other pages laid out. I also have some of this Copic opaque white stuff in case I make any mistakes, and also to add any highlights to like the eyes and stuff afterwards. The comic page itself was drawn with my favorite purple Col-Erase pencil, and then I did the line work in the purple Jelly Roll pens. I used an 06 first on everything, and then went in with an 08 to add line variation where I wanted it. You know, like outlining the characters, and then sometimes like other places I felt needed a little bit of a thicker line instead. So before we color this, I want to take just a look at this color key I made. So when I colored the first page, I made little legends, I guess you could say, for the different characters. So the drummer and the saxophone player aren't on this page, but I can see that for the punk, I decided on oatmeal for their skin color. Their mohawk is going to be rose pink, powder blue, and orchid, with praline roots and stubble. Their eyes will be cocoa, and then that's actually their shirt for the first scene, so I think their shirt is pear green at this point. So unfortunately, I actually tried to film me coloring a page already, and it went really good, but when I looked back at the recording, I realized that most of the middle of the recording was just gone, which is a bummer because I think I did a pretty good job, so I'm gonna try and do a good job again today. So now that we've looked at the color key, let's just start by coloring in the punk character. Let's start with the punk's skin. So we're gonna color that in oatmeal. The punk and the pigeon was actually my New Year's resolution for 2018. And if you're keeping track, you may realize that it is now 2019, which means I did not complete it on time. But that's okay. It's not about completing it on time, it's about completing it at all. So even though it's 2019, I'm still plugging away at it to try and finish it. And this is actually the last page to color, which is why I hope that this recording doesn't mess up, because after this I've got no more pages left to color. This comic is supposed to be a modern retelling of The Princess and the Frog. If you don't know what that fairy tale is, basically a princess is playing one day by a well with her golden ball, and the ball falls in, and she's like, oh no, and then a frog comes up and is like, hey, I can get your ball for you, but in return you'll have to like let me live with you and sleep in your bed, and you'll need to kiss me goodnight and stuff. And the princess was like, okay, just get me my ball back. And then the frog did, but then, like, she didn't like the fact that she had to, you know, let him sleep in her bed and stuff, like she agreed. So she threw him against the wall, and then, because the frog is a frog, it got all injured and fucked up. And the princess was like, oh no, and kissed him. So that's the original Princess and the Frog. In my version, the princess is a punk, and instead of losing a golden ball, they lose their lucky Allen wrench, which is like this piece of L-shaped metal that you use to tune like a bass or a guitar or something, down a storm drain, and a pigeon offers to find it. The punk never throws a pigeon against a wall though. Don't throw pigeons against walls. They just kiss the pigeon because they like the pigeon, which, like, I'm really hoping that doesn't read as bestiality, but I figure if I put, you know, right at the front of the comic, The Punk and the Pigeon, a modern retelling of The Princess and the Frog, people are, like, gonna be on board with the fact that the pigeon's gonna turn into a human and they're gonna be in love. So I'm just, not gonna worry about that, and it's a cute story, okay? It's cute. So like I mentioned, this was actually my 2018 goal. My resolution was to finish a short comic within the year. The very first draft of this actually wasn't a retelling of The Princess and the Frog. It was a completely different story called The Barista and the Bird Lord, but that one was too rambly and didn't really go anywhere or have a solid middle or end. So I took some of the elements from that, but other than that, gutted that and decided to turn it into a modern fairy tale retelling and rewrote it to be a modern retelling of The Princess and the Frog, like I said. And then in like late winter, early spring, I wrote the script and did the rough drafts, and while doing the rough drafts, which I just sort of did directly onto the paper in marker, I realized it would be about 8 pages, which, well, drawing them turned into about 7 pages. But I started drawing the pages in May, and it took me from May until December to draw all the pages. And I know that's really slow, but I really was trying to like not shy away from things I try not to draw. Like there's at least 2 full backgrounds. I draw a lot of hands and different expressions, even some assorted full bodies. I draw the punk playing a guitar at one point. So like there was a lot of stuff in there that I would normally shy away from drawing, but I took my time and looked up references and like did studies before drawing the pages, and I'm glad I took all that time because I am very happy with how the end result is looking. I did also have like other stuff going on. For instance, at the end of summer, early fall, I was moving across the country from California to Massachusetts. So it wasn't continuous work, but I did work on it on and off from May until December until all of the pages were drawn and had the line work done. And then at the end of December, beginning of January, I started doing the color. And that's where we are now. Is I'm coloring the last page. Not like the last page of the comic, because I actually went out of order. The first time I filmed this, I was actually coloring the last page of the comic, but this time we're coloring the second to last page. Which, by the way, if you haven't read the comic, by the time this video is posted, it will have been finished and been uploaded to my Tumblr, so I will leave a link to the full comic down in the description, though at this point I guess I've probably spoiled you for a lot of the plot. I am really excited though that I'm almost done with this. Like, I think the last time I made a full short comic was a comic I drew about Isabelle and... God, what's her name? She's the owl from Animal Crossing. She's Blather's niece or something. She has a telescope. Celeste. I drew like, this is probably like 2 or 3 years ago at this point, so it's, oh, this is the wrong pink. I want rose pink. But I did a comic about like Celeste and Isabelle from Animal Crossing, and it was like Celeste had a crush on Isabelle, but was like too scared to like talk to her, so she left Isabelle a coffee instead at her desk while Isabelle was out like officiating an event. I don't know, it was pretty cute, but looking over it, I feel like there's a lot of points in that comic where like I fudged different things, like the backgrounds or avoiding drawing difficult poses, like I said. So this time I wanted to do it again, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't skimp on those things that scared me, like backgrounds and stuff. So even though it's only a 7-page long comic, and even though it took me literally more than a year to draw, I'm really proud of myself, and I'm really excited to finally have this finished. And I've also started working on my 2019 resolution, which I'm also really excited for. For 2019, you know, I sort of learned my lesson from this that, like, although I love the medium of comics, I am very slow. Drawing fast is not my strong point, and obviously I can keep practicing at that. But I think what I'm going to try next, and this is my resolution for 2019, which I'm super excited about, I'm going to try and write, illustrate, and program a visual novel. And that is currently on, I would call it draft 1.5, because it's kind of like the second go-through of writing it, but I also haven't succeeded in writing the entire story, even though the entire story is drafted. And that one, I'm trying my best to sort of get over my nerves with writing. I've actually been kind of considering putting up, like, a link to what I have so far. It'll sort of let people read it and look at it and give me some feedback. I don't know. If you would be interested in reading 75 pages of very gay story, you know, badly written boys with too many feelings, navigating a small church community and their attraction towards each other, that kind of thing sounds interesting to you, and you're like, oh man, I don't care if your writing sucks, I want to read it, let me know, and maybe I'll post a link to the first draft so that I can have someone besides Aiden read it, because I love Aiden, but they are my boyfriend, so they're kind of like contractually obligated to tell me that the stuff I wrote is good and doesn't suck. Oh, by the way, always have your scrap of spare paper underneath what you're markering so that it doesn't seep through. Next, I'm going to put the iridescence on the pigeon's neck, so I do that with the pear green and the rose pink. I just do like little dabs, and then I'm gonna like go over it again with gray. One of the things that I'm most bummed about losing with the other file is I had this whole sequence where I thought out what skin color to make the pigeon's humanized version, which is like kind of a bummer that I lost that. Because, you know, I was having like a hard time deciding what color to choose, and I feel like if I had filmed that and put it in the video, you guys could have like yelled at the screen when I was choosing which color you thought was best, and like maybe those vibes would have traveled back in time and through space to me and like subconsciously have helped me pick the right color. But I lost that footage, so you guys won't see me picking, so you can't yell at the screen and tell me which color to pick, which is a bummer. So we're stuck with what I chose, which is the dark brown. Because I did consider making the pigeon like a gray to match, you know, the humanized pigeon. I was considering making the humanized pigeon sort of gray skin to match their gray feathers, but as you'll see, I also kept their eye color, which is yellow, and like yellow eyes, gray skin is really that sort of Homestuck troll vibe, which is not what I'm super going for. So I decided against the gray skin, and like I mentioned before, I sort of picked out a number of, oh my god, this gray marker is really dying on me. Come on, buddy, just one more page and then you can rest, I swear. Oh, like I was saying, the colors that I picked them out beforehand, and I had 3 skin tones. I had the oatmeal, which I'm already using for the punk, so I didn't want to use that, so that just left praline and cocoa. And when I sort of compared them to the colors that I'm using for the hair, which is the green and pink, the praline is kind of like a mid-tone brown, and then the pink is also kind of mid-tone, and the green is also kind of a mid-tone. So I felt like all together they didn't really give a lot of contrast to the pigeon's design. Oh my god. Please, I'm begging you, gray marker. Please. Please. Okay, well, we'll come back to that. This marker was already dying when I started, so I know I sort of dug my own grave with that, but like, there's also the best gray color for the pigeon's body. Oh, anyway, like I was saying, sorry, I keep going off on tangents. Because they were all mid-tones, I felt like the praline didn't really give any good contrast. So I ended up ultimately going with cocoa, because that's sort of a darker color. So sort of the hair was the mid-tones, and then the eyes were very bright, and then the skin was sort of a nice darker brown to contrast with that. And I sort of wish I could have done that whole thought process on screen so you could have seen sort of how I try to pick the colors, but like I said, that recording got lost. I sort of talked it through with you just now, and I'll try and like, ah crap, that's the wrong one. Damn it. I'm done sort of, I'll try to like blend that out and lighten it up. It's okay. This is why I shouldn't draw and talk at the same time though, it's because I start making mistakes. What was I saying? Right, so, you know, the skin tone was an important decision, so I wanted to include you guys on that, but you will at least get to see me pick out my colors when I sort of decide what the background colors for these panels should be, so I'll try to sort of talk you through my process for that. Because that's what I really want from these videos is, I know you guys sort of like get to see my art on Tumblr and stuff. I assume, I highly doubt anyone will find this video through like the recommended videos or anything. I assume most of you are coming either from Tumblr or somewhere else you follow me. But like you can see my art there. You get to see the finished product, but I want you to be able to sort of see my process and how I think through things. You know, how I actually do it, you know? This isn't coffee, it's orange juice and Mountain Dew that I put in a mug to sort of class up the joint, because I don't want to be the guy that drinks orange soda and Mountain Dew at 10 in the morning. I am that guy, I just don't necessarily want to be known as that guy. You dig? Oh my god, we're almost done. We're getting so close. If cool gray number 3 can just hold out for us, we're gonna have this done. We're so close, buddy! We're so close! Come on. Let's go, let's go, let's go. You can do this. Oh yeah, look at that. Gray, gray, gray. See, this was the other reason I didn't make the skin gray, is because it's already dying. Come on, buddy. Come on. You're so close. I talked about investing in Copics in my other video, where I was doing a diary comic. If you haven't watched that, I'll link it in like the little, I think there's like an eye in the top of the screen. I'll try to link it in, or I'll put it down in the description. But I sort of talked about how like I am getting to the point where buying one Copic and then refilling it is less expensive than buying the colors that I use over and over and over again, like the ones that I'm burning out dozens of markers on, and I think gray, like a light gray and a mid-scale gray might be some of the next ones that I invest in. Because like, even though I don't use much black in my art, I do use a lot of gray. I don't know, for birds, concrete, backgrounds of panels where the character is all gloomy, like, it's a versatile color. Oh, you did it. It's patchy, but it's there. That's a gray pigeon. That'll do, marker. That'll do. Little pink feetsies. Alright, so the last thing we have to do before we color in the backgrounds is color in the transformed pigeon. And I remember from the other page I colored with him, I made his hair is green and pink, alternating between chunks, and then the middle strand is green, so I'm gonna start there. I know a lot of people don't love chisel tips because they're not as versatile as brush tips, but if you didn't know, usually when you're like marking the paper, you'll use like the broad end like this, but if you actually flip it around in your grip and use like this, you can get a thinner line. I don't know, maybe everyone else realized that already and I'm just slow to the draw, but it really changed how I use chisel tips. So let's see, this one's green, so this one's gonna be pink. So this one is green too. So green, pink, green, pink. I guess those two pink ones will be kind of touching each other. It's alright, right? It's okay. Don't worry about it. People are allowed to have two chunks of hair that are the same color that touch each other. And this is green, and then it's green, pink, and then I guess this one can be green too. Alright. And then let's just color in all the chunks we didn't do green in pink. Beautiful. And his eyes are closed, so I don't need to do his eyes, so that just leaves the skin. And like I said before, I decided on this dark brown for the skin tone, so we're just gonna go with that. And if you did see the video I posted last week, and you're wondering why Aiden isn't barging in and out of the office, slamming the door and interjecting things this week, it's because they are at school today. So they go to librarian school to learn how to be a librarian. I am so proud of the hands I drew on this page. Like, look. Look at that. They're a little spindly, they're a little weird looking, but that is 6 goddamn hands total, which is 6 more than I ever usually choose to draw. Because like I said, this comic was about not being afraid of drawing things that I'm bad at drawing. It's the only way you'll ever prove. If you just are scared of drawing things and you never draw them, you'll never get better at drawing them. It's important to draw things that make you happy, draw for yourself, but if you want to continue improving, it's also a really good idea to draw things that you don't like to draw, that you wouldn't usually draw, like backgrounds, and hands, stuff like that. I still haven't decided like how I'm gonna do this magic swirly. I think I can sort of see where it goes from the pencil, so I'm gonna like do it swooshing around the pigeon's body, but I'm not sure what colors I'm gonna make it yet. Although I'm done with the skin, so I guess now is the time to decide what colors it is. So let's just decide the background colors first, and then we can figure out what colors the magic will be. Since this is a startled panel, I think that's gonna be red. This panel is like cute and affectionate. They're kissing, so I'm gonna do that one in the light pinks. You may be wondering, why do I have 3 light pink markers? It's because, similar to the gray, they're all dying, so I need to sort of layer them up. Yellow? Yellow? I think this one can be yellow. I'm not sure if that one is gonna be like blue or a gradient. Well, let's start with what we figured out. Pink, red, and yellow. We'll start there, and then we'll take another look at it and decide what to color the rest of this. How's about that? See what I mean? It's dying. Alright, let's switch to the other one. It's a slightly different pink, but it's mostly the same pink. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine, right? It's fine. It's pink, it's fine. And then gotten a pretty good go with these two pink markers, which are my preferred ones, but both dying. So next we'll go just with the this pink marker, which has plenty of juice because I don't like it as much because it's got slightly grayer tone. But you know, we did half in the other pink markers, and then we'll sort of fade it into this one. It's fine. Everything's fine. Sort of go over those pinks again to try and... Actually, that might be good for this panel of, if this panel's yellow, then this can be sort of a gradient from yellow to the grayish pink. I think that's what I'm gonna do, but we'll get there when we get there. Next panel is red. I try to use the red panels kind of sparingly, because the red can really dominate a page, but like, it's an important panel. This is where the magic happens. Literally. Gotta be super careful not to go over the lines with this. Usually if you go over the lines a little bit, it doesn't matter that much. You know, you can fix it with the white or push it back with another marker, but like, the red's a pretty bold color, so when it's down, it makes its presence known. So I'm gonna try to be careful. Wonderful. Marvelous. Alright, next panel. Oh good, that was just some eraser dust. Alright, next panel. Yellow. Let's go yellow. I keep like standing up to make sure that the camera is still filming. I'm so scared of losing footage again. I like did everything possible to make sure that doesn't happen again. I like made sure to clean out all the other photos and videos so that like it has enough memory. I put it on airplane mode so no one will fucking call me. I plugged it in while it's filming so that it doesn't run out of battery. Like, doing everything. It's my last shot at making this video about the punk and the pigeon, not fucking it up. I might use the red for like the rays there, I think that might look, or maybe pink. No, probably red. I'll use sort of red for those rays that are coming off him. I think that'd be cool. Red and pink? Maybe red and pink. Why choose? Actually, here's a good lesson. If you're not sure, test shit out. So let's test it out. Yellow, yellow, red, pink, pink and red. Yeah, I'm gonna go for pink, I think, with possible red if I need to strengthen it up a little. Bam! Thinking ahead. Making tests. That's how it's done. Yeah, that looks good. Hell yeah. Oh, Dave, you're so smart and so good at art. Still recording? Still recording. Alright. I'm gonna have the yellow extending to maybe about there, and then fading into the pink. Work it around the yellow color first, and then come back to fill in the rest. Maybe I shouldn't have used this pink. I always want myself to like this pink because, like, I bought, like, a ton of, like, 3 marker packs for red that were on sale that had, like, this pink, a berry red, and, like, one other shade. And I need a lot of berry reds because I go through, like, bright reds a lot. But, like, I'm not in love with this pink, but I keep trying to force it into my drawings because I've got literally, like, a dozen of these. So if I've got them, I might as well use them, but I don't love them. Don't love them. I'm making it worse. Alright, you know what? That's good enough. Let's just stop trying to fuck with it. Same as before. Alright, so now we need to decide about this. We need to decide on the background color, which I think I might make like a light blue, since all of these are pretty warm colors. And then maybe the magic is like pinks maybe? Pinks and yellows? I'm not sure. But I'm pretty sure I want to make it blue, so let's start with that. I'm not even sure I want to put in magic, because that'll sort of obscure the details. So maybe we can do, like, a fade from, like, light blue right around him to the dark blue, and maybe even, like, if I decide that's not enough, we can put a dark gray right around the edges. How about that? Let's do that. Good plan, Dave. Good plan. Thanks, Dave. Just scrub that out to try and blend it. If you're having trouble on the corners, bring your scrap card out, sort of give yourself a steadier base for it. This blue marker is kind of dying on me too. I don't think I've got another light blue, so we're just gonna have to deal with it. I believe in you, buddy. Alright. Oh, gotta put the highlights in, so I'll definitely put highlights in the eyes right there. Just gonna use the brush that comes with it. Perfect. You know what? I think I'm gonna go for it. There's pink and yellow rays here, so let's try and just put, like, some pink magics here. I might regret this, but also I'm gonna go for it. Wish me luck. Maybe the yellow was a bad choice. No going back now. Alright, I actually like how that looks. I think the white really pulled it together. So here is our finished comic page. Thank you so much for joining me while I colored this. Really glad that it all went smoothly this time. If you liked this video, maybe you could push the like button, and I'll probably be filming more of these, so if you want to see those too, then maybe push the subscribe button. And if you have anything you want me to do in another video, leave a comment and I'll probably do it because I don't have that many ideas. Alright, I'll see you next week. Bye!